You're watching South Asia Newsline and are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 9th of October. UK PM backs India for UN Security Council seat, strengthening India-UK ties. Taliban Foreign Minister's first official visit to India. And IMF clears $347 million financing deal for Sri Lanka. And now for all the details. In a major diplomatic statement and a strong signal of growing bilateral ties, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that India should get its rightful place in UN Security Council. His comments came during a high-profile visit to India, his first as Prime Minister, which has seen a flurry of announcements across trade, defence, education and global diplomacy. Prime Minister Modi, addressing the India-UK CEO summit in Mumbai, called the two nations natural partners and said their collaboration is driven by talent and technology. Education emerged as a big focus of the visit. Prime Minister Modi announced that 9 leading UK universities will soon open campuses in India, a move hailed as historic.
The Prime Minister and I also discussed the need for a just and lasting peace in Ukraine, the need for stability and security in the Indo-Pacific, and the need to cooperate in critical areas like climate and energy, including breaking away from dependence on fossil fuels. India is a global player. We sit together in the Commonwealth, the G20, and we want to see India taking its rightful place on the UN Security Council too.
Earlier today, India's Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, also met Prime Minister Starmer during the visit, with discussions centered around enhancing bilateral trade. In a post on X, Goyal said, delighted to call on UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, discussed avenues to further deepen India-UK trade and economic partnership for mutual prosperity. The leaders held wide-ranging talks covering trade, defence, security and critical technology. Starmer is accompanied by a high-powered delegation of 125 UK business leaders, entrepreneurs and educationists, highlighting the scale and seriousness of the visit. From education to global diplomacy, this visit by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is being seen as a milestone moment in India-UK relations.
फ्रेंड्स, भारत और यूके नेचुरल पार्टनर्स हैं। हमारे संबंधों की नींव में डेमोक्रेसी, फ्रीडम और रूल ऑफ लॉ जैसे मूल्यों में साझा विश्वास है। आज प्रधानमंत्री स्टार्मर के साथ शिक्षा क्षेत्र का अब तक का सबसे बड़ा और प्रभावशाली प्रतिनिधिमंडल आया है। यह बहुत खुशी की बात है कि अब यूके की 9 यूनिवर्सिटीज भारत में कैंपस खोलने जा रही हैं। साउथहैम्पटन यूनिवर्सिटी के गुरुग्राम कैंपस का हाल ही में उद्घाटन हुआ है और छात्रों का पहला समूह प्रवेश भी ले चुका है।
And a major diplomatic development out of the Middle East has drawn strong words of support from India. In a post on X, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has welcomed the new Israel-Hamas peace agreement, calling it a reflection of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's strong leadership. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, on his first official visit to India, welcomed the agreement and urged its immediate and full implementation. The deal brokered by the United States under the leadership of President Donald Trump aims to bring an end to the 2-year conflict in Gaza. The breakthrough deal, confirmed earlier today by US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, is being described as a potential turning point in the devastating war that erupted on October 7, 2023. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed hope that the deal would usher in lasting peace in the war-torn region. As the world watches this ceasefire with optimism, India's endorsement signals its growing diplomatic engagement in global peace efforts.
I strongly welcome the news that a deal has been reached on the first stage of the peace plan in Gaza. This is a moment of profound relief. This agreement must now be implemented in full, without delay, and be accompanied by the immediate lifting of all restrictions on life-saving humanitarian aid to Gaza.
And in a first, Afghanistan's Taliban Foreign Minister Amir Muttaqi arrived in India on Thursday for a 6-day visit aimed at strengthening economic ties and boost regional engagement with New Delhi. Muttaqi is scheduled to meet Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar and other officials to discuss political and trade-related issues. India's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said on platform X that they look forward to discussions on bilateral and regional matters. Muttaqi's visit comes after attending the Moscow format meeting with diplomats from Afghanistan's neighbors, where 10 countries, including Russia, China, Iran, India and Pakistan, opposed US President Donald Trump's plan to take over the Bagram military base near Kabul. The joint statement said deploying foreign military infrastructure in Afghanistan or neighboring states was unacceptable. India, which had friendly ties with previous Afghan governments, does not recognize the Taliban regime and closed its Kabul embassy in 2021. Later, reopening a small mission for trade, medical and humanitarian engagement. Moving on the sidelines of the 60th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council, political activist from Pakistan-occupied Gilgit Baltistan, Sherbaz Khan, accused Pakistan of exploiting the region while denying its people constitutional rights, representation and control over their own land and resources. Sherbaz described POGB as a disputed territory, asserting that Pakistan's continued interference violates both international law and basic human rights. He criticized Pakistan for imposing heavy taxation in POGB without parliamentary representation and condemned the Land Reforms Bill 2025, calling it a draconian law that enables Islamabad to sell local land and natural resources to outsiders under the pretext of green initiatives. According to him, land, forests and mineral-rich areas are being leased to national and international companies without local consent.
POJK and Gilgit Baltistan is the disputed area. So then why you impose our taxes on the people? And then about other subsidies. We have a lot of resources and you get the resources and then you get back only repression. So this is not the way.
Moving on. Bangladesh International Crimes Tribunal has issued arrest warrants for former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and several others, including high-ranking officials from her government, over allegations of enforced disappearances during her tenure in office. The tribunal accepted charges of crimes against humanity and issued arrest warrants for 28 individuals in connection with 2 separate cases linked to severe human rights abuses during the Awami League's government's rule. Meanwhile, supporters of Hasina's Awami League party argued that the charges are politically motivated, claiming that the tribunal is part of a larger effort to discredit Hasina and her government. Hasina's Awami League ruled Bangladesh for more than 15 years until August last year, when a massive student protests forced her to resign. She fled across the border to India, where she remains in exile. And the International Monetary Fund has reached a staff-level agreement with Sri Lanka to complete the 5th review of its reform program, paving the way for access to about $347 million in financing. The funds will be dispersed once the IMF Executive Board gives its approval, bringing the total amount unlocked under the nearly $3 billion support package to about $2.04 billion. In a statement, the IMF emphasized that Sri Lanka must maintain its reform momentum to safeguard macroeconomic stability and strengthen its resilience to external shocks. The island nation, which is gradually recovering from its worst financial crisis in decades, triggered by a severe dollar shortage 3 years ago, continues to face fiscal challenges. The IMF noted that Sri Lanka's 2026 budget should align with program goals, backed by strong revenue measures and careful spending. It also called for continued efforts to improve tax compliance, widen the tax base, rationalize exemptions, and strengthen public financial management. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.